Oh, a very good afternoon to you. I hope you're well. Thank you for choosing Hochanda. My name is Janice. It's great to have your company this wet afternoon. Will the rain ever stop? Do you know something? We don't care because we're inside and we're crafting and we're loving it as well. We have a brand new supplier to introduce you to today here on Hochanda, and I would like you to give a very, very warm welcome to our lovely Sarah Richards from Olive Road, London. How are you, Sarah?
I'm good, thanks, Janice. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm really good. You know, it's lovely to finally meet you. We've been told that you were coming here to Hochanda, and I'm so excited for what's in store. But can you tell people at home a little bit about the company and about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, Olive Road London's well, it's just me, Sarah, and we've been running for 3 years. And really, I set up just to really explore vintage fabrics. So I love vintage fashion, but a lot of it can be too small, too pricey. So I felt that with the vintage fabrics, you can make your own vintage style fashion, but it can be to your size, you can fit it to you.
Now, these are all genuine vintage fabrics that you've sourced yourself over, well, I mean, the range of time could be from the 1950s, 1990s.
Yeah, that's it, yeah, that period, yeah.
And where do you source your fabrics from? Where do you go around to find all of these absolute delightful fabrics?
It's a really fun part of running my business. It's actually quite time consuming, but it's also really fun as well. So a lot of the time it's when I'm travelling around on holiday throughout the UK, especially something about the British coastline. They seem to have really good kind of shops you can find. So it might be charity shops, beach sales, sometimes you get those big antique centres.
Yeah.
But my advice is if you look down, because I tend to find that the fabrics are not given their kind of their showcase that I feel they should. So I find if I like rummage on the floor, like there might be a basket under a load of keys, or and then just have a really good rummage, and then you find some good pieces.
Yeah, you certainly do. Well, I'm glad you've been doing the rummaging around so that you don't have to do the rummaging around, because we've got some great kits for you on the show, and we've got some great demonstrations coming up from Sarah. If you do have any questions, any sewing related questions to working with vintage fabrics, then please do email in. It's studio@hochanda.com. Right, let's have a look at the first kit we've got available for you. Great price at £9.99. This is your halfpenny. $19.99, and you've got options. Now, with the vintage fabrics that we have here, they're going to vary. Not two will be the same because they are one of a kind, and that's really important to know with these beautiful vintage fabrics. So if you're buying one for yourself, if you're buying one for a friend, or you know your friend's buying one and you are at the same time, you'll get the same pattern, the same instructions, but your fabrics will be different. They'll be unique. They will be different from one another. Now, you do have choices in colour ways. We're saying colour ways because we needed to give you some kind of idea of the fabric that you're getting. The patterns, of course, and the main parts of the colours will vary, but we've got 3 options. We've got the beige option. Now, this is just a sample of what you could be getting. So the majority of this fabric, we have that lovely beige in the background, but you've still got some blues and some reds in here, and you've got that lovely lilac trim. Your next option is blue. So it will feature blue within the fabric, as this does. Now, the lining for the bags, and I'll just check with Sarah on this, the lining for some of the kits that we've got on the show might not be vintage, but the main part of the kits is going to be vintage and unique. So we do have some bags coming up, so do bear that in mind when you pop those into your basket. But for your pinning, or your halfpenny, and I'll show you to the back of me in a moment's time. This is a blue, or an example of a blue. And then we've got an example of the pink. And this has reds and greens in there, but we've got that lovely pink in there as well, the lilac-y pink. Absolutely gorgeous vintage fabrics. I love these. And with vintage, you're going to get quality. and it's surely lasted the test of time. Here is your halfpenny. If you take a look at this, love the design of this. Let me just bring this forward for you. So we've got a bit of a vintage vibe going on with the design of this as well, and it is adjustable, so it's going to be one size really fits all because you can adjust it. If I just turn this around to the back, you'll see that you've got the tie. So you can let that out, you can make it shorter if you want to, and I'm sure Sarah will show you some techniques as well of how we can make this slightly different for each individual. And you've got that lovely trim there as well. 225184 is your item number if you want to go for your halfpenny. Now, I did say we've got some more items on the show. These cushions are fabulous. The sample that we've got here is absolutely divine, isn't it, with that vintage fabric. So this could be a feature piece in your home. It could be a feature piece maybe for a chair that you've got in your bedroom, or maybe a chair in your hallway, or it could be a chair in your lounge. You need that, you know, that feature cushion that just sets off everything. We've also got the colourways available for you of the blue or the pink and red, the beige and the green. Now all the fabrics will vary, and this one I would class probably as the beige, because we've got that lovely beige in the background, but we've still got the different colours coming out there. What a fabulous pattern. What era would you put that in, Sarah?
So that is made from bark cloth, which is really popular for mid-century, so 1950s, perhaps early 60s.
Really?
But it's a really popular fabric.
Wow. It does look the part, doesn't it? It really does. It's a fabulous design. You also get the zip with this particular kit. And if you want to buy any of the cushion pads, we've got them available for you. We'll put the details at the bottom of the screen. Because a cushion isn't a cushion unless you've got that wadding inside. But you might have a cushion at home at the moment, but it needs uplifting. It needs uplifting. So your vintage fabric, $19.99, and you also get your pattern as well to follow. 281721 is your item number. Now we've got a pouch kit for you. Again, this could be a little occasional bag for you. Pop your mobile phone in there, your keys. It could be a toiletry bag for you, or it could be a bag like the one I bring here into the studio. So I've got all my little bits and bobs in there. You could have your pens in there if you're doing any colouring, for example. It's a lovely little bag, and again, it's that vintage fabric that's going to make this stand out from anything else, because it's going to be individual for you. The same colourways, and I would say that that would be the yellow option. Gorgeous flowers in that. You just don't get fabric like this anymore, do you? It's absolutely stunning. We've got some other samples or examples of what you will be getting. This one is the pink, and it's on this one that the lining could be brand new of the fabric.
That one is vintage as well.
So this one's vintage as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. So vintage on the inside, vintage on the outside. A little like myself. Some might say, some might say. And you also get the zip as well included. So the pattern itself, very, very easy to follow. And of course, if you're stuck at any point, then I'm sure there's always help online from Sarah through Facebook. Perfect. Next option, we've got a tote bag. Now I do like this. Let me just show you the design on this. Love a good tote bag. So you've got your straps, and it's a really nice design actually, because these are designed so you can carry them, which are really nice, or you've got enough strap there just to have over the shoulder, and then it just gives you that extra area to pop things in with the pocket on the front. Love this fabric. Isn't that gorgeous? Reminds me of my mum actually. My mum was called Olive. So this is quite apt. She had a bag just like this. Absolutely beautiful, love that. I'll show you a couple of the other options of examples of fabrics that you're going to get, and you've got the same colourway. So this one here, you've got the pink red. Love that, look at that pattern. I'm going to open this out because it's really nice. That's an example of, again, each kit that you get is going to be individual, and I think that's absolutely marvellous, especially if you're buying this as a gift for somebody, or you're buying to make it up as a gift for somebody who loves vintage fabric. Someone that just loves fabric will really, really appreciate this. And then a sample here of the fabulous green. Look at that, absolutely incredible. Do like that. Now that's giving off to me a 1960s vibe, 50s, 60s vibe. like that. Like that. Beautiful. Right, so that is your tote bag, and that's the kit, £19.99, a great price for that. And then we have your drawstring bag. Let me pop that down here. This could be a nice little vanity bag for you, and you've got your showerproof lining in here as well. If I just open this out just to show you, let's get the toggle. You get the toggle included as well, so you do get the lining. And again, that lovely vintage fabric on the outside. £19.99, 290955 is your item number. I'm thinking Father's Day is on the way as well, so a little kit bag for your dad would be a good idea. Maybe your dad likes to sew. So you could buy the kit for him, and with it being vintage fabric as well, I'm sure he'll absolutely appreciate that. Or you could be making this for him, and it will be individual, and that's what it's all about as a gift. 290955. Now, we do have some pattern bundles for you, and you'll get all 5 of the patterns, and that's all the patterns that we've got on the show. So if you've got some fabric you would like to add to these patterns, then £19.99 gets you all 5, 492340. Now, we've had an email from Melissa from Simply Vintage. She says she loves to see Sarah on Hochanda, so welcome. And she says that you have some fabulous patterns and some gorgeous fabrics as well.
Oh, hi. Thank you.
Thank you for emailing in. Any other emails in, please do so. It's studio@hochanda.com. Right, let's head back now to Sarah, because we've got some demonstrations coming up. What are we going to have a look at first, Sarah?
So first, I'm going to do the Milli Penny and show the rick-rack trim that goes along the seam, and also then how you can alter the waistband so that you can kind of change the size and make it to fit.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it.
Okay. So I've started this one off already, but what I've done is press the seam underneath is flat. So I've pressed it nice and flat, and you've got a 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. And then literally it's a case of lining the rick-rack ribbon up against the seam. Now, usually I would use a matching thread so that it would blend in with this colour ribbon, but I'm using white today so you can see the effect. And get this started. And it's just take it slow, just guide the ribbon along the seam as you go. You could pin it if you prefer.
Would you always use 100% cotton with these designs? Could you use polyester if you wanted to, or a poly mix?
The polycotton's fine, because it's being that that's an all-sew thread, it gives you a bit of flexibility. So yeah, that works fine. So you just take it slow, bit by bit, make sure it's lined up as you go. And then I'm just coming towards the end. So what I'll do is just tuck it under, and then that will finish off the end at the same time.
I'm also wondering, Sarah, if I may ask, with the fabrics, because they're all recycled, which is great, and all genuine vintage as well, how about washing instructions?
Yeah, so I'm including washing instructions in the pack, so you'll receive those. But all the fabrics I buy are all pre-washed, so they're ready to go, ready to start working with. They're washed on 30 degrees, gentle wash, with maybe like a wool silk fabric washing liquid.
Yeah.
Then I find that's kind of a non-bio, so that the enzymes from the washing liquid don't work with the fabric. So
yeah,
that usually works fine.
Perfect. Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, so with the waistband, so we were talking about the sizing. So what I've said in the instructions is, so you gather the top of the pinny. So what I did was I actually measured a piece of thread around to where I wanted it on my waist, doubled it up, and then pull through with the needle, and then that way you can create your gathers, but you know that the thread is already the size you want it to be.
Good
because
idea.
You've measured it against your waist.
Good idea.
So once I've got to this point, I then find the centre. So I've done that here, marked with a pin. and I've got the waistband ready, and I've also marked this, the centre point with the pin. Then we go right sides together, and hang on, I put the pin on the wrong side. I'm going to go right sides together this way. Actually, swap that, sorry, I got that wrong. Wrong sides together. So we do the waistband on the wrong side with the wrong side, and then you would pin it along. I'm not going to pin for quickness on this one, but if you pin this way as well, if you pin vertical to the edge, it means you can go over with the sewing machine. Remove the pins is a good idea, but if you miss one, it means the sewing machine and the needle's not going to break.
Top tip.
So I'm going to start from the centre and work out, and then come back to the other side. So I'll just do 1/2. So I've got, this time it's a 1 centimetre seam allowance, and I do my forward back. And I'm going to make sure those gathers are in there, so you've not got lots of gathers right at the end. They need to be evenly distributed.
On some of the kits that we've got, Sarah, could we hand sew some of the kits if we wanted to?
Yes, so there's some hand sewing on the zipper pouch, which I was going to demonstrate. You could definitely hand sew all of it with a back stitch. Obviously it's going to take a bit longer, but if you're quite happy for it to take a bit longer, then there's no reason why you couldn't hand sew any of it. Maybe sometimes the zips can probably just could do the sewing machine around the zip.
Yeah, true, true.
So I'm going to finish, I'm just going to do half the quickness, but then I've already pressed this. What you then do is press a 1 centimetre hem there, and then we're going to tack it in, so we're hiding all those gathers. I'd actually like these gathers to be a bit more even. They haven't been as even where I'm doing it on here. I'm just going to remove these pins.
It's a really nice feature to it though, isn't it, those little pleats underneath the belt. I'm just looking at the sample here. It just looks really nice and pretty.
Yeah, and it gives it that vintage look. Pretend during the 1950s.
I'm just stroking that for the people at home, just in case you're wondering what I'm doing. I didn't really know what to do. The camera was on me, so I just decided to stroke. Do you think these fabrics are easy to sew with? Because they're vintage, they're top quality fabrics as well, and lasted the test of time, of course, some of them being, well, 30 years old?
Yeah, I think so. I think, so for some of the smaller bags, they're cotton poplin. So this is cotton poplin, and it's really easy to sew, it's easy to press, gives nice sharp lines. Some of the ones, so maybe for the Betty tote bag, they tend to, and for the cushion, they tend to be a bit thicker. So you just need to have a little bit more patience with the sewing machine, but they still, it's cotton, it's really easy to sew with cotton.
Perfect.
So with this one, I'm just going to finish. So I won't sew the whole thing, but you'd basically start with the edge of the waistband, and I'd so what I've done is I've actually pressed the waistband so that I've pressed it over, so you've got the hem edge over the top. Then that way you've got a bit more control on the finish on the front, rather than then if it's a little bit messy on the back, it doesn't really matter, you're not going to see it, but at least the front will look neat. So I'm going to get as close to the edge as I can. You can see I'm going over the pins, but you can take them out. But if you miss one, it's not the end of the world. So I'm just getting as close to the edge. So you just want to make sure you're catching on the other side as well.
I can see doing something like this when we can get together with our friends and having a little bit of a cream tea, afternoon tea, maybe doing a bit of vintage sewing in the garden.
Yeah, that's a nice idea. Cream tea with your vintage pinny. So I've got to the centre, then I would finish off and then literally start from the centre out again. Then that way you're not starting from one end, and then if you've made a bit of a mistake, you've got a very long way to go.
Yeah.
So this way you're doing centre out, you can unpick it if you go a little bit wrong.
If you wanted to adapt it, Sarah, could you add a pocket to the front if you wanted to, or some applique or something like that that perhaps you've made?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, there's someone on Instagram that I chat to, Rosie Stowe's Vintage. She had one of these kits and she actually made it into a full-size apron.
Did she?
So she put a pocket on it and she did the bib at the top as well.
Wow.
So she adapted it. Yeah, it looked great.
That would look great, especially maybe if you've got a little company, you could adapt it with your logo on. Now that would be nice, you know, like the old bowling ball, vintage, not bowling ball, but bowling hall teams, and they used to have initials on the skirts. That would look pretty cool on something like that.
I've done that for when I do shows. I've got a little Olive Road logo on the pocket of mine, yeah.
Oh, fantastic. It does, it really does lend itself to that. It's absolutely fantastic. And I love the fabrics. Vintage fabrics. It's all about upcycling and recycling those vintage fabrics. Anywhere from the 1950s all the way through to the, well, we can say the 1990s is vintage.
Yeah, it is.
Can't believe that. I mean, most of our crew here in the studio were born in those vintage days of the 1990s, which I don't know what it makes me. However, yes, we can call the 90s vintage. Wow, how good is that? Thanks for that, Sarah. We'll be heading back to Sarah for some more demonstrations, but I do want to take you through the patterns that we've got available for you on the show. You can buy these and use your own fabrics if you want to, or if you want to go and have a look and go and order the pattern singularly with those vintage fabrics. It's going to be a bit of a surprise which one you get when you get it home, but they're all going to be absolutely incredible and individual. But if you want to go for the whole collection, the pattern's right here, $19.99 for all 5, which is excellent value for money. So it gives you a chance to make it once, twice, or even 3 times, m'lady. You can make it as many times as you like. You've got the instructions with the pattern inside. Let's just open one of these up to show you. So this one is the kit bag. So we'll open this up. You see you've got your introduction. It will give you the picture of what it's going to look like, and then you go through and page by page, very, very easy to follow. I won't show you all of it because, of course, you've got to buy it to get it home. But that one will make the kit bag. I'll show you that just here. This is really, I used to have one like this when I used to go swimming at my primary school. It would be really good because you have inside that shower-proof lining. So if you've got like your wet trunks or your wet bikini, you can pop that in there, or your wet swimming suit, pop that in there and it'll be all right until you get it home, which is lovely. So you've got that vintage design as well with the drawstring. So that's that particular pattern. You've also got the tote bag pattern. Love this. Really nice. Good size as well, which is what you want, isn't it, when you want to fit all your things inside. I do like. I think it suits me, don't you? I think it makes me look quite feminine with my hair that's quite long now. Getting all feminine in my young age. So that is your tote bag. Good size. You've got your pocket in the front as well. If you want to go for this with the vintage fabric, you're more than welcome to do so, but it is included in this pack of 5. Also included, you've got your little vanity bag as well. So again, a lovely little design included for your $19.99 in that pattern. And you've also got the cushion in there as well, and the pinning. So you're all good to go. 492340 is your item number if you want to go for that one. Right, also on the show, we've got our 7-day savers, and you might want to pop one of these. Oh no, this isn't the 7-day saver, sorry, this is the dry iron. It is a cracking deal. £11.99 if you're a Freedom member. Oh my word. Now that is true value for money. It's a non-stick sole plate as well, so you do know with all your different fabrics, that is fantastic. And I do believe, does that fold down? I think it does. It folds down so you can take it with you. It's like your little travel iron. You can see the different settings on there. It's easy to set. There you go. Absolutely fantastic. Freedom members, take advantage of that £11.99. If you want to become a Freedom member today, then you can do 888 in your basket, and Freedom members, you can take that discount instantly. Right, it's great to have your company. We have a brand new supplier to us here at Hochanda, and we've got the lovely Sarah with us demonstrating. We're heading back to Sarah in a moment's time. But Olive Road, London, what a fabulous company and what a great ethos as well. Taking vintage fabrics and bringing them back to life. Genuine vintage fabrics. Now for the Millie Pinny, which is aptly named because my dog's called Millie, I love that. So for your Millie Pinny, which is just here, how much of the stock has gone? A quarter of the beige option has gone, because with this particular deal you get the pattern and you get the vintage fabric as well. So we've got options in colours. Rather it be a complete surprise to you, they're all vintage, they're all unique, so no two will be the same. But to give you an idea, and just to help you order really, the beige will have tones of beige in there. So this is an example of that. So you've still got lovely colours in there and a great design to that vintage fabric. The blue is another option for you, so you know that you're going to get tones of blue in there, but with this one you've still got the green and the yellow, a lovely English beautiful countryside pattern on that vintage fabric. And then your other choice is the pink and the red. So this is going to give you an idea of the pink and the red. It's all about the colours that you're choosing, but the fabrics are going to be unique and different. And of course, as a soft crafter, you will know that's really important to get something different, to get something individual, and also to give you a chance to work once again with these beautiful vintage fabrics brought back into circulation by Sarah and the team. Right, next up we've got the cushion for you. Right, we have had a sellout of the blue option of the cushion has sold out. So the blue option has now gone and sold out. So I'm going to take that one away so your eyes don't go there anymore. But what we do have is the red option, the red and pink option. This is a really nice sample, actually. Let me open this out and just grab that up, of your vintage fabric in the red and pink. That is beautiful. We're 40% gone of the red and the pink. They just don't make it like that anymore. They really don't. It's incredible, lovely designs. And if you want to get hold of it, I would be popping this into your basket pretty quickly, because we've sold out of the blue option. We've still got the beige option, haven't we? And the green. Still got the beige and the green. Right, so that's your cushion, 281721. Perfect, beautiful vintage design there. Now, we've also got for you is the little bag here. Let me take there. So with this, I'm going to take that out. So I just want to take that out a moment just to show you. You've got really good room inside here. So if you wanted to maybe pop your pens in here, or your lipstick, or your mobile phone, or your keys, or maybe use it as a little makeup bag, then you can do. Dad, you might want to use this as a makeup bag as well. No judgment here, but you might want to put some other things in there as well. So each one you get. My producer's just said, a nose trimmer. And maybe Mum wants a nose trimmer in there. We all get there, you know. It all comes with age. Right, if you do want to go for this particular kit, here's some examples of the fabric that you're getting. So that is the green. This is a lovely, lovely fabric here. And this is the red and pink, because the majority of that is red or pink. That is absolutely, let me open this up and show you. Love this. Isn't that gorgeous? Again, they just don't make it like that anymore. And then here's an option. This is your beige option. Contents will vary, but this is just giving you an idea of what the beige will look like. So if you do want to go for your zipper pouch bag, 065982 is your item number. Now, next up is that tote bag. Love this. So handy, isn't it? It's a bag for life. That's what it is. It's a bag for life. But it's something that you're going to feel quite proud of when you go out shopping, or when you finally do go back out, meet your friends, or maybe go to work, for example. Great work bag to have. Great bag to take with you shopping as well. It's a fabulous design. In the design with the handles as well, I really like the fact that you can bring the top parts together, as you can see just there. That makes it easy to hold, but also gives you the option then to place it over your shoulder, and it's comfortable. And that's really important, isn't it? We've got the gorgeous fabrics here, again, vintage designs, pure vintage fabrics. It's not a reproduction, it is pure vintage fabrics. And that way you are buying into a fabric and helping to save the world, really, in a way, and the environment, because it's all recycling. Yeah, save the world. It's a big statement, but I'm going with it. I'm going with it. 1999, 272 297. Now let's go to the drawstring bag, which is an option for you. Remember, all of these patterns are available together as a pack of, or as a set of 5. We'll put that details at the bottom of the screen in a moment's time. Right, so this is your drawstring bag. Remember, inside there you've got your shower-proof fabric on the inside. Really like that design. Simple, effective and vintage. 1999 290 955 Olive Road, London. Beautiful fabrics, great patterns as well. And we've got Sarah with us. We've got some more demonstrations lined up. We're heading back to Sarah now. Yeah, Sarah, what are we going to have a look at now?
Okay, so I'm just going to do part of the tote bag.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you the handles and how to stitch those on, and then make that finish at the top.
Yeah, I like that. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. Okay, let's have a look.
Okay, great. So I'm actually just going to use black thread, even though it's a white, because I want you to see clearly what I'm doing. So I need my glasses for this point. So what I've done is I've actually tucked the webbing so that it's, when I'm sewing, I'm going to stitch over this line. I want to finish this line because this can fray, but once we've stitched it down, it will only fray to that point. To get to this point, I've actually measured in the middle of the bag. So and this obviously is just a small cutting, but when you do make the bag, you fold it in half, measure the middle point that I then put a pin into to mark that place. There's all step-by-step instructions that come with the pattern, and it will show you how to do this as well. But then I measure from this point to here, fix it with a pin. I've actually fixed this one already, and then this one, equal sides. And then once you've pinned them, it's actually good to put it on and try it, make sure it's where you want it to be. If you want it a bit shorter, you can shorten it. It's completely up to you. So then coming onto the machine, I'm going to start at the bottom on this hemline, and I'm going to follow where I've already created the hem. And so I fix the stitch. So I'm literally following that line, and I'm just feeling where the edge of this webbing is. If you find it easier, you can always mark it with a fabric pen, like one of those that runs out. Then, oh sorry, I just need to go back to this point. So what I do at this point is I make sure that the needle is in the fabric, and then, so that's holding, the needle's holding it in place. I lift up the presser foot, then I turn it 90 degrees so that it's going to sew flat along that line. I am going to take the pin out at this point because the pin's at a bit of an angle and it could snap the needle. I'm going to, with my fingers, I can feel the line of the webbing. So if you are a beginner sewer, you might want to just mark that with the pen so you know where you're sewing. And then come along nice and slow. And then literally, I think you can just pull the sewing machine wheel towards you to finish to that point. Again, the needle is back in the fabric. I'm going to lift up the presser foot, 90-degree turn, presser foot back down, and I'm going to sew as close to that top edge as I can. Again, right to that point of the webbing, I can feel it. Now it's good to get a thread that you can match in so that if you just go a bit wonky, it doesn't show as much. So I've gone a little bit wonky on the hem there. And actually, I just want to go a little bit further, so I'm just going to go 1 point, leave my needle in, press it up, 90 degrees. So I think this is actually called pivoting. And then back down to join where I was. So I'm literally going to join. So I've created a square. Now at this point, I want to do a crisscross. So I'm going to make sure my needle's in. I lift out the press fit, and instead of 90 degrees, I'm going to turn it, or I don't think it's 180. Not very good at my degrees, but I'm going to turn it so that it goes from one corner to the other corner.
I'd like to help you, but I was rubbish at maths at school.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
290, yeah, that would be 180, wouldn't it?
You get the 90 degrees and the 180. So I'm just getting to that other point. Now, I've got the needle in, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to run across that top line again, matching it as best I can, but it doesn't always have to be exact. So I'm reaching right to the other point, needle in, press it up, and I'm going to turn, so I'm literally going corner to corner again.
And you've got these tips in the book, haven't you, about for pivoting and tailor tacks and pinning. So when I say the book, in the pattern that you're getting with the tote bag. So all of that is in here, and you can also watch these demonstrations again with the lovely Sarah on Rewind. So all of that information will be there for you. It's really interesting.
Great. So then once you've come to the following corner, now I prefer not to do my reverse stitch on that line. I think it looks neater if I go back to the bottom edge and then just literally do my forward and back just to fix the stitch. It just looks a bit neater than if you're doing it on the crisscross. So you can see with the black, you can see it's not the neatest sewn in the world, but on the other side I've done it in white, so you can see that it actually looks neater on the other side.
Perfect. And that's what you need when you've got a bag, isn't it, Sarah? Any kind of handle, because it's a good size bag. Let me just move that out the way. It's a really, really good size bag. So you're going to fill it up and pop things into it. So you do need that handle to be very, very sturdy. So to have that stitch on there is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, it just gives it a strength. And the other feature of the bag is it's got a really big gusset at the bottom. So whereas some of those tote bags are just a simple square, that one's actually got a nice deep gusset at the bottom, so it means you can fill it up with lots of books, shopping, whichever, whatever.
Chocolate.
Chocolate,
wine,
definitely chocolate.
Cakes. Cakes are always good to go into a big bottom like this, because you can put them in flat, which is always good in the boxes. Sarah, thank you so much for that demonstration. If you do want to go for the tote bag kit, remember the fabric you get is going to be a one-off. It's going to be unique and it's vintage, genuine vintage, absolutely extraordinary. And as a sewer as well, it's going to give you a chance to work again or work for the first time with these fabulous vintage fabrics. So there you go. And there's another example if you're going for the red. So we've given you colourways, but each of the fabrics is going to be totally unique. If it was me, do you know what I would do? I would just pick one. I would just pick one. I wouldn't worry too much about the colourways, because all of them, all of the fabrics, all of the examples that I've seen here are absolutely stunning. And I don't think I could actually choose one in particular because I love them all. So I just pop one of them into your basket and wait till you get home and see how excited you're going to be when you get that fabric out for the first time. Right. Let me pop that tote bag down there. We've got some 7-day savers on the show for you, and we thought we'd introduce you to them if you've not seen them before, because I think these are perfect, actually. So these are your sewing boxes. Now, unlike this, we've got some different elements in here. Not sure what that is. Maybe that's for your magnetic for your pins. I think that is for your pins, isn't it? For your pin caddy. You've also, oh, your measuring tape. So that's in there. Love that. So that's that. Let me just pop that up as well. So you can put your needles in there or your bobbins. And then you've also got some storage. If I take that out to show you, you've also got some storage in there, different compartments. So that's just in the top, everyone. That's just in the top. And that's just one side. Let's turn it the other way. This is interesting because you'll see on here you've got a measuring device just on here. There you go. Yeah, so you've got your inches and your centimetres. So that's really handy, isn't it? Just on the top. And then just on there it will tell you what you're getting. So you've got your magnetic caddy, your tape measure and your bobbin tray. You can pop everything in there. But the other side opens up as well. There you go, so you've got that area there for storage. That's easy access, maybe for your knitting needles or something like that. You've got the handle to carry it, but you've also got, of course, the larger storage inside. Perfect. So that could be for your knitting balls, it could be for your fabric. Lovely, excellent. That was seamless. I like that, yay. So you've got options, you've got the blue and you've got the pink. Yes, a nice rosy pink, lovely. So there you go. And if you want to put some ice in the bottom of that, you could also take your beers out with you when you go knitting. We've got some scissors for you. Not that it's going to keep it cold and it's not insulated, I just need to tell you that. It was just a throwaway comment. Scissors. Oh, do you get both of these? Dressmaking and your pinking shears, or as I call them, your crocodile scissors. Love these. Now these are really good because they're ergonomically designed as well, so really comfortable in there, like that. Good weight to them as well. They're not too light, they're not too heavy, which gives you that quality as soon as you pick them up. And it's always about the sound, isn't it? About the sound of scissors. These are your dressmaking scissors. Don't use them for anything other than. Oh, they're nice, yeah. Now, with your dressmaking scissors, it's nice to have them a little lighter. Substantial, but a little lighter, so that you can keep going through your fabric. Superb. Always pass the scissors, of course, like that. One of the things we were taught at school. Right, £9.99. That's an excellent price, is it not, for both of those? 7-day savers, saving £10, 722 808 is your 808 804 is your item number. Right, we're going to head back to Sarah. We've got another demonstration coming up. What are we going to have a look at, Sarah?
Okay, so this time I'm going to show how to insert the zip for the Mary tote bag. So I've got one here without its lining, so I'm just going to show how to do these tabs. It just gives a really nice, neat finish.
Is this the pouch bag we're looking at, Sarah?
Yeah, so the Mary pouch bag, the zipper pouch.
Love that, okay.
So I've already done this one. So in the kit you get a small scrap of fabric that will contrast the outer fabric. And then what I'm doing is I just fix it to the zip. So I'm just going to show how to do that. So I've already pinned it in place. So with the scrap of fabric, I just fold it in half, pressed it to give it a nice fixed line, and then pinned it as close to the zipper head as I could. Now ideally you would use a zipper foot for this part. I didn't want to risk messing my machine up on TV, so I'm going to do it with my regular foot. But now I've pinned this in place, I can actually just move the zip out of the way, otherwise the header is going to bash against the... I'm going to hold it in place where I remove the pin and put down the foot. And kind of similar to what I've just shown with the tote bag, we're just going to sew in a square, fix it. So I'm doing this in white to show you, but you would do it in a matching colour. And it's literally probably about 1.5 centimetres to just fix it in place. And then I'm pivoting, as I just shown before, to make a simple square. And then I'm just going to fix that last stitch. So once we fix that in place, we've got the 2 tabs. Now, I've already pressed, so this will be once you've cut out the pattern, and I've already pressed over by 1 centimetre this edge, and I'm going to line it up to the zip. Now at this point, it'd be really good to tack it in place. You could just put a couple of pins in and then tack with hand sewing, and that means that when you're sewing a zip, it really doesn't move out of place. I'm just going to put a couple of pins in for now, and then I'll remove them as I go.
Sarah, with the popularity of sewing programmes, I'm sure you kind of get the hint of the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We've got lots of new beginners when it comes to soft crafts. Is this a good project to start with if you are a complete novice and beginner?
I think it's a really good way to start with zips. So I think if you're a complete beginner, I would start with maybe the Millie Pinny or the tote bag, because they don't have any kind of zip fastenings. And actually the Olivia kit bag, again, doesn't have any zips. So they're really good ones to start with. I've designed the patterns so that all the instructions are as if you are a beginner. And then with the cushion and with the Mary zipper pouch, it's a really good introduction to zip, because I've done it in a really straightforward, step-by-step way. And so if you do tack the zip in place before you go on the sewing machine, and little tips like that will really help you kind of conquer zips. And rather than trying to put a zip into a dress for your first project, if you do it in a bag, it's so much easier.
Yeah, it gets you that practice, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Why did you call it the Mary zipper pouch?
So all the bags are named after family members.
Oh, right.
So Olive Road is actually named after the street my nan and granddad lived on for 60 years.
How lovely.
Mary was my nan, and Betty was my nan who taught me to sew.
Really?
Yeah, and Millie is my niece who loves baking.
Oh, fantastic.
Olivia's my niece who, she's really into horse riding and sports, so I named the kit bag after her. And Gloria is my mum who loves her home and decorating.
Oh, how lovely. Isn't that what a lovely story? And I can associate with Olive Road. That was my mum's name. Betty's Jane's name, my partner, and her mum used to sew. And my dog's called Millie. So we've got all this connection going on, which is fabulous. So the next kit, feel free to call it Janice. As I said before, some people would say I'm very vintage. Are we still cracking on with the demo, Sarah?
Yeah, so I'll just finish this zip, and then with the Mary, I'm just going to show how to hand stitch the lining. So I'll just run over this quickly. So what I've done is I've positioned the piece in the middle. So it's best to measure it. So I'd measure the zip, measure the piece, find the centre point, and then pin and tack. And then you would have a zipper foot ideally, because then you can get much closer. And then the other thing is to make sure this zipper head is out of the way when you're sewing, because that will break your needle. I'm just going to remove these.
I guess with this one though, if you wanted to hand sew this one, it would be fairly easy to do so.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, that'd be fine. So what I'm doing, just to move the zipper foot, I'm just making sure my pins, my needle is in place. I'm lifting up the presser foot, and I'm just going to wiggle that zipper head so it's out the way and it's closed now, and then I can carry on. Finish with a double stitch. So I haven't got quite as close as I would like because I haven't got my zipper foot on. So you could probably just get a little bit closer to the edge. And then with the other piece you would do exactly the same on the other side. So you'd have a flat piece before you then put the two things together.
Would you need to press it at all, Sarah?
Yeah, so this one I've already pressed. So it's ideal if you press over the hem before you fix it to the zip, because then that makes it a nice flat edge. This makes it nice and easy to fix to the zip.
Perfect. And if you need an iron, we've got one available on the show. Freedom members, $11.99. It is an excellent bargain, especially if you are new to soft crafts. This is something you've wanted to get into, and this is the perfect show for you to do that. So if you do want to get hold of the iron, here it is, £19.99. 417259 is your item number. It's non-stick sole plates. That's really handy, and it folds down as well. Folds down flat. So maybe one of your first projects could be a little pouch to put that in. Maybe. $19.99 if you're not a Freedom member. Have a look at the 4.5-star reviews on that. Now, I do want to just have a quick recap on the patterns we've got available for you. Excellent for using with your existing fabrics. Remember, if you're going for these individually, you will get those beautiful vintage fabrics one-off. But these are beautiful designs by Sarah, and all named after family members, which is a lovely story to Olive Road, which of course is where Sarah's grandparents lived for 60 years. 60 years. So you're buying into a little piece of history here, I do believe. So all 5 of them, $19.99, great price, because of course you can make as many as you like. I'll just quickly double check that actually before I go and say that. Once they've bought the patterns, they can make as many as they like with them, can they, Sarah, or have you got a limit?
No, definitely make as many as you like. Make them to sell at craft fairs, make them for gifts. The only thing asked is just not to reproduce the patterns, but you can completely reproduce the items.
Excellent, excellent. That's good, isn't it? So only $19.99 for all 5, 492340. We've got about 4.5 minutes left of the show. Should we come back to you, Sarah, for another demonstration?
Yeah,
lovely. OK, what we're going to have a look at?
So I'm just going to finish off with this zipper pouch, just to show you how to insert the lining. It's hand sewing, but just to kind of make sure you fit it in correctly. So this is the finished outer, and then I've sewn the lining together. So we're doing wrong sides to wrong side, and I'm just going to put it in, and you just need to give it a really good wiggle in the corners, make sure it's all lined up, and then you can see you've got the lining showing the right way. Now it can get really fiddly trying to sew this into the corners, so what I do is just completely press it in as much as I can, and this side too, and then I'll pin it around, so I'm happy that it needs to feel really flat at the openings. If you find it's a little bit bigger than your bag, you can just add a little pleat into this corner. You're not going to see it, you're not going to feel it. If it's a little bit small, you might need to unpick it and just alter the lining a little bit differently. Now this bit I hand stitch just to get a nice finish. I start off in the middle and I just do a slip stitch. I'm just going to need my glasses for this bit. I'm just going to do a slip stitch, so I'll just fix it with a little back stitch in place. And then what you do is you just run the needle under that line that you've pressed. So you're completely hiding that thread, you can't see it.
Oh, that's good.
Once I trim that bit. And then I'll pick up a little bit of the zip. Now, because my thread's white and the zip is red, I tend to match the colour of the thread to the lining, but you can also match it to the zip, so then you can't see. So I'm just picking up a tiny little bit of the zip fabric so that when you come through, you can barely see that. And then back into the fold, and then back into the zip. And then you carry all on round. As you get to this part, it's quite difficult to get right in, so I tend to just put a couple and bring the needle through here. I'll just miss this bit and come through. So I'd literally would just put the needle right through the bag. You might need a thimble on at this point to get through those seams, and then back through again. Just put in a couple that way, and then carry on around this edge as well. but ideally you'd pin it in place before you then carry on sewing.
And that would definitely be hand sewing around that part. You wouldn't use a machine to do that, or would you?
I prefer not to. I think the hand sewing gives it a much neater finish. You can't see the stitching on the outside. If you sew it by machine, you're going to see the stitching on the outside. So I prefer to do hand sewing on that point.
And I suppose if you're using vintage fabrics, you need that vintage vibe to it, you know, sitting down with that mindfulness, just sewing away, which is fabulous. Oh my word, Sarah, thank you so much
for
coming to us here at Hochanda. I hope we see you again very, very soon. I absolutely love all your fabrics. I know everyone's going to love them when they get them home. So thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can find Sarah on Facebook, of course, Olive Road, if you want to. But this is your chance now to pop these into your basket. 492340 is your item number. You have got 5 patterns here. You've got the lovely pinny, that mini pinny. It is adjustable around the waist as well. You can do that when you get it home. You've got the lovely tag pull bag. I love that. The tote bag is a fabulous design as well. And you've also got the bags in there as well as the cushion. $19.99, 492340. Been exceptionally busy for that. I just want to say a big thank you to Sarah again, and we hope to see you very, very soon. Thank you so much. And as I say in vintage style, didn't she do well?